artist of all time.
Victor Borge.
Is he really your favorite?
You asked, I'm telling you. You have no follow-up question to that, do you?
Tell me why.
Because he was not only hilariously funny, but a virtuoso musician. Do you know who Victor Borge is?
Hey everyone, Jim Shear here at the John Varvatos store on New York's Bowery, former home of CBGB's. This next artist appeared on ballots from voters as diverse as Gene Simmons and John Legend. At number 43, here's Ray Charles.
I remember during We Are the World, I was standing right behind him, and everyone deferred to him. Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Bob Dylan, didn't matter. Everyone deferred to Ray Charles.
Let's get the simple stuff out of the way with Ray Charles. He has one of the greatest voices of all time.
Mama, don't treat me wrong. Come and love me, daddy, all night long.
He's so unmistakable and so expressive.
Ray Charles is one of the most soulful, funky piano players of all time.
The way he moves and all that, it's like he's dancing while he's sitting.
That's what I'm talking about.
He changed the musical landscape. He brought country into mainstream. He brought blues into rock and roll. He brought rock and roll into gospel.
I'm gonna tell you, mama, tell you, pa, I'm gonna sing you back to Arkansas.
He just put that blues edge onto it, and that's all we needed to be able to get into it. He was a genius.
He's the epitome of soul. Music is like my breathing. I mean, I really mean this sincerely. You know, it's like the blood in my veins.
When Jamie Foxx portrayed him in Ray, it really introduced the younger crowd to Ray Charles all over again. His whole story is just amazing.
The scope of his career, he didn't stop. He kept pushing himself. And I think that's one of the things that made Ray Charles truly an icon. He is like no other.
I believe they wanted to call their first album Metal Up Your Ass. I think that says pretty clearly what their intention was.
The 80s is so horrible with all the hair bands and everything, pretending to be metal bands. And then Metallica came out and they're just like true metal.
We used to tour in the early 80s with Metallica. I remember standing on the side of the stage, I'm going, these guys are uncompromised.
They all wore black, they had long hair, no eyeliner or hairspray or anything like that, and they just came down and laid down the law and ripped your head off.
Well, first of all, I mean, people be like, okay, well, Backstreet Boys, what do they know about Metallica? Well, I tell you, the Black Album is a masterpiece of rock.
I think Enter Sandman made Metallica Metallica. It took them from this little metal band to the mainstream.
If you look at what they've endured, from image changes to the whole thing with Lars and Napster and everything like that, at the end of the day, they are still one of the biggest bands in rock.
Metallica's hands down one of probably the most talented ensemble for heavy metal, and I think their career sort of speaks for itself.
Metallica loves you, baby! Thank you! The longer the countdown goes, the bigger the artists get. Here's what's coming up next.
Van Halen, to me, were the archetype of heavy metal bands.
We are all the way down to number 41. And if our voting panel were composed solely of teenage boys from 1983, this next band would probably be number one. Here they are, the incomparable Van Halen.
You really got me now. You got
came out and it just blew everybody's minds.
You really got me now. You got me so I guess bad night.
Van Halen were the archetype of, heavy metal bands. David Lee Roth's showmanship combined with Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing and Alex and Michael Anthony. They made such classic albums.
First time I heard Van Halen, I'm like, what is he doing on that guitar?
I thought he had four hands. Like, I had no idea how he was doing it. And then you had David Lee Roth, hands down, bar none, the best frontman of all time.
David Lee Roth was an incredible singer and also just a cartoon character up there. It was hilarious.
Yeah, incredible showman.
David Lee Roth has such personality and such charisma. When he leaves a band, that should have been a death blow to Van Halen.
A lot of people don't give Sammy Hagar a lot of credit. I will give Sammy credit.
Every Van Halen record with Sammy Hagar went to #1.
I was happy when Dave came back.
I never thought those guys would ever get back together.
I went to the David Lee Roth reunion tour. I had a pretty good time, I gotta say.
I saw the show 6 times and it was incredible.
What Eddie continues to do on the guitar is nothing short of miraculous. The same for David Lee Roth. I love them all.
Beautiful. What a way to finish out our first 60 artists. And I've determined that every artist and band on this list can legitimately be called the one and only. We've got the top 40 artists ahead, voted on by a panel of over 60 musicians, including Gene Simmons, Jason Mraz, and 50 Cent. How will they rank? Who will be #1? You guys need to keep watching to find out. My name is Jim Shear, and I will see yins later.